All right, today we're going to dig in a little deeper to the off-road modes. Come back. All right, so this is Larry Yeager at Yeager's Harley-Davidson, and I would like to dig into the off-road modes just a touch bit more, maybe help some of you guys and gals that might be just a little bit confused about those. If you're an off-road rider, I think it's very important to get familiar with those, know what difference they make when you go to the different modes, and really tailor that motorcycle to your riding style and your riding ability, and I think the bike will work a whole lot better for you. Basically, there is 4 different off-road modes. There's off-road, off-road plus, then there is custom off-road, and custom off-road plus. And they are selectable. All 4 of those modes are selectable through the instrument module. All right, so of the 4 modes, off-road mode is a standard mode that every one of the Pan Americas come with, okay? And it has a mid-range power that's suited for off-road riding. It has a kind of an off-road suspension that they've got the dampening and the compression and things set up for off-road type riding. It's a little softer ride than like a sport mode would be for the road riding. The throttle response is a little bit lazier. This is all off-road, just straight off-road mode. The throttle response is a little bit lazier because they don't want an instant throttle response on your off-road riding. And all ABS options, whether it be engine brake or lean angle ABS enhancement or just ABS brakes in general, is all active. They're all functioning. Wheelie mitigation, which is basically a wheelie elimination, is active, so it will not let you wheelie the motorcycle. It reduces power and brings front end down, okay? So that is off-road mode, okay? So then there is off-road plus, and you can go in and select that. Basically what off-road plus does, it does all the same power delivery, the mid-range power, it does the same suspension setting, it does the same throttle setting, all of that is exactly the same, but it disables all of the ABS braking options. So no ABS brake, no engine brake, no lean angle. It also eliminates the wheelie mitigation. So now that motorcycle will wheelie for you. So that is your off-road plus, okay? All right, so now we will dig into the custom off-road, okay? So there are two of those. There's custom off-road and custom off-road plus. Basically, everything is selectable in custom off-road. You can select what power delivery you want, whether it be sport, off-road, rain, road. You can select what ABS application you want, more or less, not eliminated yet. The traction control, same there. You can select what kind of traction control application that you want. You can select what suspension you want, whether you want a sport suspension or you want off-road suspension. I think in the off-road they've got soft and they've got hard, so there's a couple different ones there. You can select what throttle response you want, whether you want a real snappy throttle or a lazy throttle, okay? So all of that is selectable in custom off-road. Then if you have a custom off-road plus mode selected, then basically everything is exactly the same as the custom off-road as far as the power delivery and the suspension is the same. The traction control is the same. The big difference is it eliminates ABS completely. It brings traction control to the least amount of traction control. It's not eliminated yet. It's just reduced it as much as the system will allow you. And it's got it, it basically removes all the ABS options is what it does. And wheelie mitigation. It eliminates wheelie mitigation as well. Okay, so that is custom off-road. That is custom off-road plus, okay? So now I'm going to show you how to navigate and make those changes. So now we've got the motorcycle turned on, which everybody knows takes a few seconds to get everything booted up. And I hope you know now your modes, okay? So this one right now we have the off-road mode selected, which shows a bike on a hill. It's kind of a orange or yellow in color. There's no plus sign and there's no octagon on it. So that means it's just off-road, okay? So how do we change or alter these modes. Okay, so we're going to hit the multi-screen button is what I call it, and then we're going to scroll over to the settings. We're going to select that. We're going to go to ride customization. We're going to select that. We're going to hit ride modes. Going to select that. And then we can roll down and we see that this bike has got off-road and the off-road plus check mark. Okay, so if I hit the right arrow like that, it unselected it. So the plus side would not even show up. If we hit that again or hit the enter button, it selects it. Now the check mark is there, so that makes it that gives you the option of having the off-road plus. Okay, so that is the off-road plus. We scroll down one more time, and that is the custom off-road. And you can see it is a brown mode with an octagon in the upper left. And again, that is custom off-road, not plus, just custom off-road. But since how we got it selected right there, it will have a plus, a custom off-road plus map available. Okay, so there's a pencil over here. That means that mode can be you can select or you can enable or disable certain options in the mode. So we're going to hit a right arrow, copy from another mode. That's not what I do. I usually hit the X, I hit down, and I just go to engine map, and then I start selecting. So if I open up engine map, it has got rain, off-road, sport, and road. It's got any of them. So you can select those, okay? Select which one you want. You back arrow one time, it goes to engine brake. Then you got your engine brake right there, and you can select whether you want more engine brake, max, base, or less, okay? Back arrow, throttle response, and right down the line. All of those are selectable, and you can change. And again, this is what we are building. A custom off-road map now is what we're doing, okay? So let's just go up here, and we're going to grab engine map, and I'm going to grab off-road, which I've got. I'm going to go to engine braking. I'm going to hit less. Personally, it's what I like. I'm going to back arrow. I'm going to go to throttle response. This may not be advice for everybody, but I personally like it to be very snappy on throttle. So I hit max, go back, traction control, hit that. You got the option of sport / off-road, road, or rain. I leave mine in off-road. Anti-lock braking, I go to that, and you got off-road, road, rain. I leave it in off-road. And then suspension dampening, it's really, I typically select, you can select sport, balanced, comfort, off-road, soft, or off-road firm. I've used all of those. I personally like the off-road firm, but that's just what works better for my application and how I ride. And then adaptive ride height, I lock at ride height. So I turn that off, and so the ARH is no longer working when I'm running off road. So it gives me full ground clearance all the time. Okay, so now I have got a custom off-road map built. Okay, so I'm going to hit home. Right there, get us back to the home screen. And I'm going to scroll from the top. Oops. Hit the mode button. So there is road. There is sport. Now we're at off-road. Okay, so again, off-road mode. I'm going to hold the mode button down, and it brings it to off-road plus. Okay, I'm going to hit the mode button one more time. That takes us back to off-road. And then the next button is custom off-road, which is got it's a brown with the octagon in the upper left corner of it. And then if you hold that button down, it brings up the custom off-road plus. Okay, so that again is the same as custom off-road, just eliminates all of the ABS options and wheelie mitigation and all those kind of things. So that's a pretty good overview. I would practice with that stuff and get familiar with it. Another little tip I will tell you is if you like running in the plus modes, you've got to select that every single time, And if you like to run with traction control off, which can only be done by holding this traction control button in for enough time that the traction control button stays solid, which it's got to be running for that to actually happen. And that's the way I like to ride mine, okay? So the hassle sometimes is when you pull up somewhere to stop for just a few seconds or a couple minutes, you shut the bike off. When you turn the bike back on, you have got to you've got to go select all of that again. You got to select what you want you want the plus mode, whether you're in off-road or custom off-road, and you got to select, I want traction control off if that's what you've selected, okay? One little trick I have found is if you pull up, shut the motorcycle off right quick, let the motor die, but before the screen goes blank, turn the ignition switch back on quickly, and it actually pulls all of the ride modes that you were just functioning in, it pulls them back in. And you can let the bike sit there, not running, just with the key on. I wouldn't suggest to do it very long, but if you're going to sit there for 30 seconds or maybe a minute or something, and then start the bike up and go again kind of quickly, you can do that, and you don't have to go through all of those selections again. So I hope that makes sense. And again, one more time, if you've got custom plus mode selected and that's what you've been riding in, and you've got, let's say you got traction control off, instead of having to shut the bike off and then come back and then turn it back on and reselect all of those options again, if you're going to just stop for a few seconds or a minute, let's say, shut the ignition off to where the motor dies, and as soon as the motor dies, kick the ignition switch back on kind of quickly, and you don't have to start it. Just let it sit there with the ignition on. Let it set for and all of those options are back. It's pulled all of those back in again. You don't have to select them again. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that's a little better explanation on the off-road modes, whether it be off-road or off-road custom. And I would highly suggest to practice with those, play with those a little bit, and get familiar with them, because they are helpful if you do some off-road riding. I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching our channel. Thank you.